Hello again, this is Andy Nicol, the course tutor for the Perfectly Spoken Advanced course, and this is the next lesson in the course. This is lesson 25, which is a review lesson covering lessons 21 to 24. So in this lesson we'll be looking at the following language areas. Looking at the grammar of relative clauses, which we covered in lessons 21 and 23. So we'll be looking together at defining and non-defining relative clauses. We'll also be looking at the vocabulary of prefixes alone. We looked at prefixes and suffixes in lesson 22, but this is just prefixes we're going to focus on. And then a brief summary, a brief revision of the brain and mind expressions that we looked at in lesson 24. So without much further ado, let's crack on. Let's move on with the review. So first of all, the relative clauses. An example there, a person who falls and then gets up. Back up, is much stronger than a person who never fell. The who falls and who never fell are, of course, relative clauses. So here we go. In this case, you have to choose the correct option. So here's the first one. David, who, that, which, trained all year, won the marathon. As always, I advise you to pause the recording at any time if you need time to think about the answer. So David, he's already defined, so this is non-defining, and we've got commas, which also tell you it's non-defining. So who, that, or which trained all year won the marathon? Well, we can only use that in defining relative clauses, and which is for things, not people. So the correct answer is who. Number 2. Which, what, or that I enjoyed about the film was the special effects. The thing that I enjoyed about the film, or enjoyed the most about the film, was the special effects. So which of these pronouns refers to the thing that? And the answer is what. What I enjoyed about the film was the special effects. Next one. It's the only perfume, who, what, or no pronoun, I would buy. The only perfume, who I would buy, what I would buy, or I would buy. This is obviously defining. And who is not possible, because who is for people. What, as we mentioned before, is the thing that, so again, that's not possible. The answer is no pronoun. You could obviously say which or that I would buy, but you can also drop it because it refers to the object, the perfume. I am the subject. Okay. Can you tell me who, which, or whose car is parked outside? So we're talking about possession. The car belongs to somebody. You want to know who that person is. So which pronoun is for possession? And the answer is whose. Can you tell me whose car is parked outside? Okay, let's have a look at some more. That's the man. To which, to whom, or to who the council awarded a medal for bravery. Okay, so we've got a preposition here, to. So in a formal style, we say for people, for things to which, and for people to whom the council awarded a medal for bravery. In an informal style, you could say that's the man who the council awarded a medal for bravery to. Number 6. I asked my mum who, that, or no pronoun I had seen earlier that morning if I could go to the party. Well, your mum is obviously defined, so it's just extra information. It's non-defining. We've got the commas there separating the clause. We can't drop the pronoun if it's non-defining, so nothing is not possible. So we've got who or that. And we can't use that in non-defining either. The answer is who. Number 7. The Taj Mahal, what, which, or that is in Agra. It's extremely popular with tourists. Again, non-defining because we've identified it as the Taj Mahal. It's just extra information. And the answer is which. Taj Mahal, which is in Agra, is extremely popular with tourists. Number 8. The doctors, many of whom, which, or who had been working all day, demanded to speak to management. Well, we often use many of when we join a sentence that says many of them. So if it's people, in this case it's doctors, it's many of whom had been working all day, demanded to speak to management. Okay, so a little bit more practice on relative clauses, this time joining two separate sentences again. Some are defining, some are non-defining. Okay, so we've got a bus here, and it says, that's the bus, we caught it this morning. So you're identifying the bus, that's the bus, we caught it this morning. So that's the bus which we caught this morning, or that we caught this morning. And here we are the subject and the bus is the object, so we can drop the relative pronoun. That's the bus we caught this morning is also possible. Okay, next one. Houses of Parliament in London, Big Ben there in the background. It's now covered in scaffolding because they're carrying out major repairs to the Houses of Parliament, etc. And it says, by Sunday we had seen all the sights meaning all the most important places to see, Tower of London, London Eye, etc. Sunday was the day we had to leave. By Sunday, comma, which was the day we had to leave, comma, we had seen all the sights. Okay, let's move on. Here's the next one. So a woman enjoying a bar of chocolate here, and it says, I love that chocolate, I love it because it melts in the mouth. Okay, so we're saying why you love the chocolate, the thing that I like about the chocolate, or that I love about the chocolate. So the thing that we use, what? So what I love about that chocolate is that it melts in the mouth. Okay, here's another one. It's a big public artwork, what we call an installation, if you remember from previous lesson. It says the installations can be seen in December. Many of them are quite unusual. So many of, remember what we do here. So the installations, comma, so installations are things, so it's many of which are quite unusual, can be seen in December. Here's another one. There's a doctor. I asked to speak to a doctor. He was a specialist in cardiology. I asked to speak to a doctor who or that was a specialist in cardiology. This is, of course, defining which kind of doctor you wanted. Okay, next one. So you've got Andy Warhol exhibition. Andy Warhol, of course, famous pop artist, famously painted Marilyn Monroe, and also his famous painting about the Vietnam War with the plane, two fighter planes, the big wham painting. Anyway, here's the sentence. I went to see an exhibition. It was displaying some of Andy Warhol's best-known work. So to combine these two together, this is, of course, defining which exhibition you went to see. So I went to see an exhibition which or that was displaying some of Andy Warhol's best-known work. And you can also do a reduced relative clause here. I went to see an exhibition displaying some of Andy Warhol's best-known work. Okay, here's another one. A bit of a doctor theme going on today. The doctors want a pay rise, they want more money. many of them have to work very long hours. So again, we've got many of them. So it's non-defining. The doctors, many of whom have to work very long hours, want a pay rise. They want more money. Another one, two women together, two sisters. She's my sister. I can only discuss my problems with her. So my sister, we can start with my sister. My sister is the only person with whom I can discuss my problems in a formal style. And if you put the preposition at the end, we use who. My sister is the only person who I can discuss my problems with. This is less formal. Okay, another one here. So a father and daughter, and it says, my daughter is saving up. She's putting her money here in what we call a piggy bank. She's saving up. She wants to buy a new tablet. Okay, my daughter, who wants to buy a new tablet, is saving up. It's additional information. It's not identifying your daughter. It's just saying she wants to buy a new tablet, incidentally. Okay, so that's it on relative clauses. Let's move on now to look at the reduced relative clauses. We touched on this a little bit with one of the examples before. So we use reduced relative clauses to make our writing more concise, particularly writing reviews and so on and so forth. So here's an example. Sherlock Holmes, who's played by Benedict Cumberbatch, easily solves the crime. So if it's a passive, we have to use the past participle, and we drop the relative pronoun and we'll drop the verb to be. So it's simply Sherlock Holmes, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, easily solves the crime. Puccini's opera Tosca, which is set in Italy, again passive, is a love story with a tragic ending. In fact, it is very tragic. At the end, Tosca's lover, Cavaradossi, is put before a firing squad and he's executed, he's shot. She thinks it's all a play, but she goes up to hug him or whatever and finds out he's in fact dead. So she throws herself from the battlements of Castel Sant'Angelo in an act of sheer desperation. So yes, it's very tragic. So Puccini's opera Tosca, which is set in Italy, is a love story with a tragic ending. So again, Puccini's opera Tosca, set in Italy, is a love story with a tragic ending. Okay, here's the next one. The Lord of the Rings film score, the music, the soundtrack, which was composed by Howard Shore, won an Oscar. Yes, it's fantastically moving soundtrack, film score, which really heightens the emotion and the tension in the films. Again, this is a passive, so the Lord of the Rings film score, composed by Howard Shore, won an Oscar. Number 4. Django Unchained. This is a film directed by the famous American actor and director Quentin Tarantino, which stars Jamie Foxx, tells the story of a slave who becomes a bounty hunter. A bounty hunter is a person who catches criminals for a reward, for money. So this time, which stars is of course an active verb. So here we need to use the present participle, which is the ing form of the verb. So Django Unchained, starring Jamie Foxx, I'll disappear here so that you can see it fully, tells the story of a slave who becomes a bounty hunter. So let's move on to the next section, which is on prefixes. So vocabulary, we've got an example there. Indecision. This is a noun, and the negative is indecision. We mentioned prefixes and suffixes. In this review lesson, I'm going to focus only on prefixes. So here we have some sentences. I'd like you to complete them with the correct prefix. And here are the options. There are 15 options here, but we're only going to use 10 of them. So here's the first one. Women are considered to be better at something tasking than men, meaning that they can do lots of things at the same time. Pause the recording if you need time to think, and the answer is multitasking. Multitasking, doing lots of things at the same time. Number 2, that is completely something irrelevant. It has nothing whatsoever to do with it. So if it's not relevant, it is irrelevant. Irrelevant. Number 3, don't be so something patient. The bus will be along in a minute. The negative of patient is impatient. Impatient. Number 4, almost 2 million people took part in the Something War protest in London in 2003. This is a demonstration called, I believe, by the Stop the War Coalition, and almost 2 million people took part. So it was against the war. Which prefix we use to be against? And the answer is anti-war protest. Number 3, she's completely something capable of doing what she's told. So she's not capable, she's not able to do what she's told. And the answer is incapable. Okay, as I said, there's 10 in total. Let's look at some more. If you something agree with our decision, you can put your objections in writing. You can say what it is that you don't like about our decision. You can put your objections in writing. So agree, what is the negative of agree? This is a negative again this time. And the answer is disagree. If you disagree with our decision, you can put your objections in writing. Number 7, it felt rather something easy with the situation they were in. They were not at ease. They didn't feel comfortable. And the negative is uneasy, not at ease. Number 8, Concorde was the first something sonic passenger plane. It flew faster than the speed of sound. So it's more than the speed of sound. Which of these prefixes means beyond or more than? The answer is supersonic. Flies faster than the speed of sound. Number 9, I'm sorry, but the fish has been something cooked. Can you take it back to the kitchen and bring me another? So you've cooked the fish for too long, for more than you should have. And the prefix that we want here is overcooked. Overcooked. And here's the last one. This year will mark the something centenary of the company. 200 years is a real milestone. A milestone is a very important event, landmark event, or whatever. So for 200 years, which prefix refers to two? And the answer is by. Bicentenary. Okay, so we're going to move on now to the last section, which is the brain and mind expressions that we looked at in lesson 24. So here we go. Brain and mind expressions. And if you can complete the sentences here. So you've got a group of people working in advertising or marketing or something. And some ideas for the new advertising campaign. So let's get together and kind of generate spontaneously ideas. And the expression is brainstorm. Let's brainstorm some ideas for the new advertising campaign. Second one. I actually tried this. I used to be a smoker, and to try and give up, to do something with my hands, I did knitting, took up knitting. So I've just given up smoking. It's been hard, but I find knitting helps to, and the expression is to make you not think about it, to think about something else. So it's usually used if it's something bad that you don't want to think about. I'll give you a clue. It's an expression with mind rather than brain. Pause the recording if you need to think. So knitting helps to take my mind off it. Take my mind off it. And so I don't think about it. Okay, next one. So somebody with a suitcase, money, passport, they're going to another country. Due to the crisis, there has been a significant blank with skilled people, professionals, academics, etc., moving from Spain to other European countries for better job opportunities. The expression here, 2 words, and I'll give you a clue again. It's a brain expression. This time it's a brain drain, where professionals or whatever leave a country in search of better work opportunities. Next one is woman deep in thought, very pensive. Oh, do something. Do you want to go to the party or not? Please decide now. Okay, so it's expression with the to do, meaning to decide. It's a mind expression this time, not brain. And the answer is make up your mind. You can also say make your mind up. Okay, it's what we call separable. You can put the preposition in the middle or at the end. Okay, another one. So woman looking a little confused. She needs some help. Can I something for a moment? I'm not clear what to do and I'd really like your opinion. So she wants to ask someone's opinion or advice, someone who probably has more knowledge or experience. And this is an expression with brain. Or in fact, brains, if you can try and remember. Pause the recording if you need to think. And the answer is pick your brains. To pick your brains means to ask for your advice about a problem. Okay. So, in the next lesson then, that's it for the review lesson. We're going to be looking at a grammar area, and that is articles. Articles causes a lot of problems for language learners. There's lots of different uses of articles. By this we mean the, an, etc., and the zero article. So we'll look at articles and things like natural features, such as mountains, rivers, oceans, lakes, mountains, mountain ranges, also cities and towns. They're not natural features, but all these sorts of things. And we're looking at articles and superlatives, the fastest, the biggest, etc. Okay, so that's all for today's lesson. I hope you found it useful in terms of reviewing what we've covered in the last 3 or 4 lessons, and I look forward to you tuning in again to the next lesson on articles. Thank you so much, and bye-bye for now.